I'm just wondering what your near and longer term expectations are for Pinduoduo, because it is one of the companies that we're seeing to kind of do quite well out of the coronavirus and the national shutdown in China.
That's right. Pinduoduo, in fact, just like Alibaba and JD, have benefited a little bit within China from this whole coronavirus situation, just because, again, a lot of people are stuck at home and e-commerce is on the rise, and they can also reach out new audiences. So that was the great thing. But at the same time, Pinduoduo is, compared to Alibaba and JD, they're limited really by their supply chain and by their delivery network. Let's not forget that this is a young company. They're just 4.5 years old. So they're still trying to figure it out. Besides that, throughout this whole situation, Chinese people were very focused on who actually helps, who actually out of the giants participate in rescuing people and supporting. So Pinduoduo has done a lot of things. They have created a fund. They donated money. They donated resources. As David just now said, they are also implementing those 2-3 RMB per order kind of money back at subsidies. But Alibaba has done even more, right? So the sentiment is good, but they are not overperforming when it comes to Alibaba and JD at this particular moment.
What are the longer term challenges for companies like Pinduoduo going into really this new economy, people going back to work, factories, getting back started again, supply chains getting restarted, but now facing the demand side issue from outside of China? Is Pinduoduo better placed because it is so domestically focused?
Well, I would say Pinduoduo is definitely a very unique platform. Again, it's developing fast. It is very young. It has a lot of opportunities because right now, for example, fresh commerce, right, the e-commerce of fresh fruits and vegetables is on the rise in China. Besides that, a lot of people from lower tier cities are going to continue their, let's say, group buying behavior, right? And a lot of people from higher tier cities, maybe not first tier, but second, third tier, they are going to also downgrade their consumption. So there are a lot of opportunities. However, what really stops Pinduoduo at this stage is they're going to lose some users because everybody, including, for example, Alibaba's Juhua Swan, they are all focusing on discounts right now. So their advantage, which is cheap prices, is being diluted. At the same time, their supply chain, their delivery services, they are not as strong as self-operating e-commerce platforms, for example, like JD. So this is what's going on here. We see that some products on Pinduoduo are actually performing very well. Over these couple of months, they increased by 120, 30, 40%, for instance, skincare, clothing, gaming equipment, fitness equipment, etc. So I would say Pinduoduo is uniquely positioned because they focus on China. The general trend is really, really good. However, here are the things. First of all, logistics. Pinduoduo doesn't have their own logistics. And yes, it is 90% recovered. But I would say in rural areas, it is still 70 to 80% recovered. So it will take 1 to 2 months to really bring things to normal. The second thing is, of course, and this is the most long-term thing ever, the consumer sentiment is not there. People are going to spend less money. People are more stuck at home. People are, in general, reducing their, I would say, demand and consumption, which is an opportunity on the one hand, but also a threat on the other for Pinduoduo in particular. And finally, this revenge consumption that everybody was talking about in China, that right after we've been stuck at home for so long, we want to really start purchasing. This is going to come, but the wave is probably going to be much smaller than people anticipated. And of course, what we see as well across all e-commerce platforms right now, brands have hold up their marketing budgets. So the platforms and the brands are not really investing, which is challenging, right, when it comes to sales as well.
Actually, we are getting the latest fatality rates out of China as well. 11 new coronavirus deaths as of March 11, of course. This coming down from 22 fatalities the previous day, also 17 from the previous day. I'm inclined to say that this is perhaps the lowest death rate, number of deaths that we've seen in China since the outbreak, reporting 11 new coronavirus deaths March 11th. Ashley, getting back to Pinduoduo, we have seen lots of measures from the company itself trying to subsidize daily necessities, trying to help out merchants to ensure supplies. Will this sort of earn Pinduoduo a little bit of trust from its consumers? How much good will it do the company eventually, given that they're actually suffering some margin pressures because they're trying to help these merchants as well as people so these prices don't go up on daily necessities?
I think it will do a lot of good to Pinduoduo, and they know it, because in China, at times of crisis, people are looking not only at government, but also at big giants, the companies, to actually save the day. And when everybody is acting, Alibaba is acting, JD is acting, social media platforms are acting, etc. They need to also be part of that action. And Pinduoduo has, as I mentioned, they donated 100 million RMB as the relief fund. They have donated fresh food and daily necessities to affected areas. They have this anti-epidemic statistics that is showing up on their platform, just like on WeChat, where you can track all the cases. They have 1 billion RMB fund, which basically says that every time you make an order, or if you are a new merchant, we're going to make it easier for you to be on this platform. At the same time, they have adjusted their delivery times. Usually they deliver very swiftly, but right now it's up to 6 days delivery. And I think what they did really well, what everybody was concerned about, was the fact that people, when the crisis hit, wanted to purchase all these masks and protective gear, and they would go to Pinduoduo and they would be really worried about the quality of the products. So Pinduoduo actually closed more than 40 stores with fake products that were essentially harming them. So it did earn them some trust, but again, in the large scale of thing, I think Alibaba earned a lot more goodwill from the consumers just because of their involvement. The fact that they, for example, tapping into Pinduoduo territory, they asked farmers to do live streaming. So they established the farmers live streaming day with 1,000 people live streaming.